welcome to my channel. As you can tell from the title of this video, it's going to be another Stitch with me. Originally, when I started this series, I kind of wanted to remain consistent and only work on the one project. Unfortunately, as I sort of did with my studying, I've left it to the last minute and I really want to get Haystack done by my birthday. It's going to be a push, but it's still within grasp and within reach. So I have decided to stitch on Haystack with my Stitch With Me this month. It'll be a little bit relaxed because I will be stitching along with my Stitch With Me as I record the voiceover. I don't believe I had too many questions. There was one from Linda asking how I start and finish my threads in heavy confetti and I guess extreme cross country, as I don't even want to say normally stitch now because I've started doing a lot more of the feathering method, but you will see in this video that's how I will be starting and finishing. So there'll be a lot more flipping of the work because I've got to reach the back of it. You'll see the back of my work. I'm not upset by it. Let's just say that. It's probably not as neat as I would like. As a general rule, I don't like to travel more than 10 stitches, but I kind of make exceptions depending on the situation. So yeah, we'll get into it. Hopefully it's not too long. I think I ended up stitching for about an hour and a half, so it'll probably be a 50-minute video-ish. Enjoy. And I almost forgot, this is the image of what we're working on today in its entirety, and this is what I've done to it. I'm sure you've seen it before, and I am working on part 2. Enjoy! Okay, let's get into this Stitch With Me. I think I started recording a little too late, so it may not be quite as obvious how I start, and of course I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the very first stitch, but hopefully throughout the video you'll be able to see I kind of catch the tail and sort of lock it in place that way. I tried to get the best setup, that's not the right word, image of my stitching. It's a little different because obviously I'm doing extreme cross country in this piece. If you're not aware of that, it means I'm doing one colour across the entire whip before I change, so I do need a little bit more working room than I have been with dogwood. As usual, I've got the tag questions in front of me. I think I forgot to link them in the last video, so we'll go back and add that to the description, and I will also have them in the description of this video. I might skip over a couple of questions. I had a quick browse before we started. Not necessarily because I don't want you knowing the answers to them, but just because they're not a happy story, and I don't know if we need that right now. So I'll answer as much as I can. If you've got questions, of course, leave them down below. I can't think of anything I wouldn't answer, but I'm not going to sort of, I guess, put negativity into the whole happening of today. So to get started, I believe I finished off with changing my name. So where am I from? I'm from a smallish town in Queensland, Australia called Gladstone. Then it asks where I grew up. I did grow up there. I was 17 and a half when I left. I had finished grade 12 and I left that Christmas. And I have been in Canberra, Australia, the capital, since, and I believe this year, I think I hit the halfway point of being in each place equally. Yes, so at the end of this year, I think I've been in Gladstone for as long as I've been in Canberra, which is wild to think about. Who did I look up to growing up? A number of people. I was fortunate enough to have a fairly large family. My grandparents were amazing, Mama and Granddad. Granddad taught me a lot. I haven't used a lot of the skills he taught me, partly because I don't, or I haven't made the time. He was an avid gardener. Both my grandparents were. My grandmother grew flowers and my grandfather grew fruit and veg. I would often help him in the garden and would love to get one set up here. It's just not in the cards at this stage. Maybe when the kids are a bit more grown up. Sorry, I just completely spaced. He also taught me how to drive. It was kind of scary, but I'm forever grateful. I did get an instructor. Mum paid for an instructor for a bit, but Granddad, I guess, taught me how things worked. So, with the understanding, it was kind of easier. And I will never forget the one day Queensland storms are intense. Like the raindrops are super large. They come down. You can't see a thing when it's a true Queensland storm. And it was bucketing down, and suddenly Granddad turned up and he's like, "We're going for a drive." I'm like, "Are you kidding? Have you seen the rain?" And his response, I guess, was, "I would rather you drive in this situation with someone who can help if things go wrong, rather than you getting your license and then being stuck, for the first time." And that sort of, beyond the driving, is a really good life lesson, I think. It's better to face the scary things with a trusted person rather than doing it alone. All sappy. I'm gonna skip the next two, not because they're sad, but I can never figure it out. They're, what are your best characteristics and what are your favorite things about yourself? I have a lot of trouble with those type of questions, so I'm not even going to attempt. A couple of questions about my parents, which I'll give a backstory but not really answer the questions. I've had a bit of a falling out with my mother over the last couple of years. It was a gradual decline. Part of the reason I changed my name, not fully, like I didn't do it to upset her, but that was, I guess, me breaking free and being my own person. And I didn't know my dad growing up. I met him when I think I was 16. Very quickly decided that he was not the sort of person I wanted in my life and haven't seen him since. So that's not great. Are your grandparents still married? Up until my grandfather's death, yes. Granddad passed away 7 years ago. It's still tough. We were extremely close, but yes, up until that point they were. And again, I didn't know my grandparents on my father's side. What relative was important to you growing up and why? Again, quite a few relatives. I had Mama and Granddad. They were both very important. I knew my great-grandmother until I think I was 22 or 23 when she died. I was pregnant with Elise at the time, so I probably could do the maths, but I'm not going to. she taught me how to crochet, and she and Mama both taught me how to cook. I don't want to sort of spell it out, but I had more to do with my grandparents than I remember having to do with my mother, which, you know, it is what it is. What would your parents have named you if you were the opposite gender? I found a baby name book when I was growing up. I was really into writing, and the name I remember that was highlighted for a boy was Zachary or Zachariah. So I'm guessing that's what it would have been. I don't remember another being highlighted if it was. But yes. What do you call your grandparents? I've kind of already given that away quite a bit. Mama and Granddad, and I also had my great grandmother who I called Nina. I think, sort of in our family, the oldest grandchild, I guess, decides the name of the grandparents. Mum was being taught Nana, but it came out Nina, and that kind of stuck. And the same sort of thing with me. With Mama, they were trying to get me to say Grandma, and I was saying Mama, so that's what it is. Yeah, I'm going to skip over the physical feature because, nah, my biggest accomplishment, is it really corny if I say my kids? Obviously, still a very much work in progress. They are their own people, but I'm really, really proud of who they are right now. They're both growing up far too quickly. Samuel will be 16 this year, and Elise is 12. And it's crazy to think that I had even a small part in who they are. Just going to have a drink because I've been talking a lot. What is your biggest fear? Other than something happening to the kids, I know it's irrational and I know it's wild considering I live in Australia, but I am absolutely terrified of spiders. I am, I guess, a true quote unquote arachnophobic. I can't even look at a photo of a spider without the anxiety starting, the fight or flight response. I know they have their place. I know a lot of the spiders in Australia look scary, don't hurt you. I know which ones to actually be afraid of, but I cannot be around any of them. Even daddy longlegs, I believe that's a fairly universal term. I don't know what else they might be called. They're completely harmless. I cannot be anywhere near them. So I'm definitely terrified of spiders. My biggest regret. I don't really believe in regrets because every sort of decision has led me to where I am, and I'm actually really happy with where my life is at the moment. I guess, other than my relationship or lack thereof with my mother, for something a little lighter, I kind of regret that cross stitching didn't stick when I first discovered it, 15 years ago. I know it wasn't the right time, things weren't working, but with all the amazing, amazing whips and projects out there, I kind of regret that I lost 10 years of stitching time. But again, I don't. I'm fully into it now. As I said, it wasn't the right time. Maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it, but there you go. What is your eye colour? Blue. What inspires you? A lot of things. Watching my kids and them sort of becoming their own people, I had them young. Like, don't regret it at all. I was 19 when I had Samuel, so it wasn't even, typical teen mum age. But I never really found out who I was. I was into dance, loved it growing up, but I knew that I didn't want to be a dancer for, my career. Um, and I believe I've made a bajillion mistakes while stitching. So apparently I can't record a voiceover while stitching. Sorry. I knew I didn't want to be a dancer, so I didn't really have a sense of identity growing up. I'm talking sort of early 20s, not necessarily while I was at home. So seeing them be so themselves has allowed me to really look at what I want to do and who I want to be. Yeah, I think that is a bit. What is the most important thing in my life? Family. As much as it's a bit of a struggle at times, I struggle with mental health, and when I'm in a downward spiral, I want to be alone. And that's really hard on my family because I love them to absolute bits, but when I'm in a downward spiral, I don't want anyone to be around me. I am so extremely fortunate that my husband is supportive, can understand the signs, doesn't take it personally. But yeah, I'm extremely grateful that my family support me through it. I know a lot of people aren't that lucky and end up in really bad places. Yeah, I'm just extremely fortunate that I'm not one of them. 20. What has required the most courage of you in your life so far? I don't know. I guess maybe becoming a mother at the age of 19. A lot of people don't believe it's possible, but I did not find out I was pregnant until extremely late in the pregnancy. I'm talking, I found out September 13. I had him October 17. And when I had him, they said that everything looked, like he was 2 to 3 weeks overdue. So I had zero lead up time. There was no decisions, I guess. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're pro, against abortion. I believe it's the woman's choice. I didn't have that choice at that stage, and I never, in myself, I knew I could never put a child up for adoption. I didn't want them to ever think that I didn't love them or want them. I know there are people who make that decision, and I have absolutely nothing against it. Sorry, this is getting really deep. But I just knew I couldn't do that. So I had about a month to wrap my head around the fact that I was going to be a mother. David and I had been together for, I think, about 18 months at that point. We had spoken about marriage and children, but it was always, an in the future thing. So I was very clear. I'm like, I don't expect you to stay. So I didn't know what was going to happen there. He said he was going to stick around, but, he was 20. It was huge. So I was facing the possibility of being a single mum at the age of 19. It's obviously all worked out. I am still with David. He did stick around, spoiler alert. But that was really scary. Yeah, so I think that required the most coverage. And we've just got a bit of a cut here because I had to change where I was in the piece. I had to move my Q snap, and that was a really, really fast segue from something serious to nothing at all. The next couple, I don't really have an answer to. There's favorite actor, actress, celebrity, and musician. I go through phases. I think it's got a little bit to do with my, I don't know if it's my OCD that sort of clings to things, and I guess it's obsessive. So yes, first thing that comes to my head, because I've watched it recently, Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. I watched The Proposal. They are both amazing. I also really like Hugh Grant, Tom Hanks. There's a lot. I appreciate movies more so than, I guess, actors, though I have fallen in love with Daniel Levy. I've been watching Schitt's Creek. I'm extremely late to the party, but I'm now finished season 2, and Daniel Levy is just an absolute character, and love his acting. Favorite person in the world is kind of favorite childhood memory. I don't know if I've got one that really sticks out. I've got a lot of good memories growing up. So I'm not going to pick a favorite. My favorite color is purple. If you can tell from Haystack Sunset, there is a lot of purple in this piece, and I've been asked if I ever grow sick of it. Most definitely not. Yeah, I got a lot of purple in my life. My favorite shade, or I guess DMC color, is 550. So that really royal, gorgeous purple. My favorite cultural activity, I don't really know what they mean with that, so I'm gonna move on. My favorite drink would have to be coffee, I think. I love my coffee, and when just after I had Elise, she did something to my hormones where I could no longer consume caffeine, and it was devastating. I know a lot of people poo poo at decaf coffee, saying why bother. I enjoy the taste. I don't have it necessarily for the caffeine. Coffee doesn't really wake me up anymore, I think because I've had it so often for so long. But yeah, definitely love the coffee, and probably water. I I'm quite a I enjoy water. Like, I'm not the sort of person that struggles to have, the 2 liters a day. I actually really enjoy drinking it. What is my favorite fairy tale? Again, I don't actually know. I enjoy a lot of them. I didn't read a lot of fairy tales growing up that I can remember. I'm sure I did when I was younger, but it's not something I actively remember. I don't really have a favorite Disney movie. I quite enjoy them all. Probably, I don't even know if I watched one more than others. I'm not the sort of person that can sit down and watch a movie without doing something else. I get very restless, which is why cross stitch is so good. Like, I can watch while cross stitching. The only thing that's really coming to my mind is Beauty and the Beast, because I would love that library, as I'm sure a lot of people would. Yeah, that's sort of all I can think of. My favorite food. I'm super fussy. I will eat most things, but I prefer them done a specific way, especially if I find something that I really like. So I love Asian cuisine. but I'm very particular. Like, if I had the choice, I would go to certain places. I've got my favorite Chinese restaurant, my favorite Vietnamese, my favorite Indian. There are a few family meals that I really enjoy, and again, they've kind of got to be done a particular way. I love lasagna, but there's our family's lasagna is sort of the one I prefer. Um, if I had to pick a favorite, I think I could do tacos without getting too bored. If I think favorite is if you were stuck with one thing. Um, so maybe tacos. What is your favorite holiday destination? I'm not a fan of traveling. I think I like knowing my space. I like having my things around me. You wouldn't know it with my current state of mess, but I'm somewhat of a minimalist. I have a lot of stuff, but it's all useful. Um, so yes, I have 80 whips now, or close to. But if I'm not working on it, and if I don't see me working on it, I will get rid of it. So I'm pretty much like that with everything, and I don't like having my normal not around me. So I don't really like going on holidays, and with Elisa's dance, we don't really get the opportunity to do so anyway. Um, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? I'm not a huge sweet lover, um, and I don't know if you can actually get this everywhere in the world. I think it's an Australian thing. Milo, it's a malt drink powder. It is freaking delicious. I love getting just plain vanilla ice cream, couple of scoops of Milo, stirring it around so it's more like a soft serve consistency, and eating it that way. It is amazing. But Milo, I think, makes anything better. It's pretty magical. Um, what is your favorite music genre? I think I've said it before. I don't really listen to music. Um, I struggle to remain focused. The the words don't keep me engaged enough. I hear a lot of music at the dance comps, so if I know a song, you can almost guarantee that that's where I've heard it. If I am to listen to something, it's usually classical music. I'm a dancer, I grew up on classical, so I don't really use music to sing along to. It's more background noise, so probably classical. I did go through a phase a couple of years ago where I was listening to Passenger, Mika, Megan Trainor. Yeah. If it's something that's got words, I've got to be able to sing along with it. Otherwise it just doesn't engage me. 41, what is your favorite physical activity? I haven't been able to do anything for quite a while. I did injure my knee 4 years ago. I was not dancing, I was a spectator, but I did injure it at a dance comp. So I haven't been able to do anything for a really long time. I did enjoy dancing. Um, Again, I never wanted to make it my career, but it is a lot of fun. Tap dancing would have to be my all time, hands down favorite style of dance. It's super fun. Yes. What is your favorite quote? I don't know. I go through phases with everything. Um, so I went through a phase where I was really into quotes. I create my own planners. I had one for every day of the year as well as one for every month, kind of like a mantra. I don't Nothing's coming to my head now though, of course. Yeah, I don't know. Um I've got a few, but clearly not liking them enough to be able to remember. What is your favorite snack? Chips. I don't know if America calls them this, crisps, potato chips. Um, I don't even know what brands. I know Lay's is a brand in America because for a while at Costco you could get, I think it was a barbecue one, and they were the most delicious thing I've ever tasted, and I can't get them anymore. Um, but yeah, I'm quite savory, so I like chips or biscuits and dip. Um, and you might call biscuits crackers. I don't know. Words are hard, especially when it's the same language, but they're different words for the same thing. Anyway, moving on. What's your favorite song? Again, I don't have one. Um, what is your favorite sport? Dance. I love watching dance, whether it's professionals, whether it's the little kids when we go to the performances. There are so many styles, and I know a lot of people don't consider dance to be a sport, but let me tell you, it's a lot. It's just as much physical activity as anything else, and you've got to make it look effortless. So I will fight to the death over the fact that dance is in fact a sport. What is your favorite time of the day? Definitely the middle of the night. I am a night owl. A lot of people say that when you have kids, you'll get used to the early mornings. I call lies. As I said, my youngest is nearly 16 and I still hate waking up. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed and how much sleep I've had, I struggle to get out of bed in the morning. So I guess my ideal time of day that I find myself most productive and feeling the best is probably 11 p.m. to about 4 a.m. is my ideal time. And unfortunately, I can't really do anything at that time of night because, I have a family. What is your favorite type of clothing? I love dresses and skirts and everything pretty. I especially love it if they have pockets because they often don't. I'm kind of a girly girl. I don't love the makeup and the hair and the shopping, but I dress quite kind of, I don't want to say feminine, but I'm not a fan of pants or shorts, and I don't really own them. I've got a few workout pants now because I started walking, but I definitely feel most comfortable in a lovely flowy dress that's just pretty. Um, what is your favorite way to pass time? I think that's kind of obvious, but cross stitching. Also reading, but it has not been getting as much time as cross stitching. What is the name of your favorite restaurant? It depends on what food we're going for. We don't eat out often. The kids are young. A lot of our money's going to their school and dance, and they're typical kids and kind of fussy, maybe more so than most. But so for the most part, we will be going to a place called China Tea House if we ever eat out. It was one of the first restaurants that my in-laws took me when I first started dating David. So we have been going there for about 16, 17 years. The owner is still the same guy, and it is amazing food. I've never been disappointed. What is your all-time favorite town or city? Why? I really can't answer this. I've been to Gladstone and then I came to Canberra. I remember as a child I visited Rockhampton and Brisbane, and recently I have visited Melbourne, but I've not spent a lot of time in any of them. I love Canberra. I don't really see me moving anytime soon, if at all. It's got a lot of the benefits of, city living because It is the capital city of Australia, but it's spread out so it doesn't feel like a city. It's not crazy. Our rush hour or, heavy traffic in the morning and afternoon is pitiful compared to actual cities. Um, Everything's within, 45-minute drive at the max. So I really do love my time here. What is my favorite candle scent? It's really hard to find. I could only get it for probably about 6 months when I was really into candles. Black cherry. I don't know what it was about it, but I absolutely loved that scent. And I had so many candles with that smell, and then the person I was buying through stopped being able to get it, and I haven't been able to find it since. Not that I've been really looking recently. I'm quite scared of candles and my very fluffy fur baby. Not that she'd go near it, I'm sure, but I don't want to risk it. Where am I going? What is your favorite social media channel? What does that even mean? Does that mean which style of social media? Does that mean a specific call out something? Each has its benefit. I don't know if I could pick just one. I love Instagram for, the photos and the ease of seeing it. Facebook's pretty good at community when everyone behaves. YouTube obviously is amazing. I've been really into TikTok recently just to zone out. And I don't know if podcasts count as a social media because they're not really that. But I'm obsessed with podcasts. They're my thing at the moment. Where's your favorite place to take an out of town guest? I don't really have many. I guess when the world was normal, I think we took my sister to Questacon. It's an interactive science. I don't think it's a museum. It's an educational place in Canberra. Most schools, if you come to Canberra on a school trip, will go to Questacon because it is super fun. But yeah, I don't considering I've lived here for 17 years, I haven't really done the tourist thing to know what's out and about. One day maybe. What was your favorite subject in high school? I loved biology. I don't know if it was the subject itself or whether it was purely the teacher. I adored Miss Cameron and would do anything for her. I was always finished my schoolwork long before I was supposed to. Things were set out. I don't know how schools teach in other areas, but at the beginning of every term, we were given our task list that broke down, week 1, we're doing this, week 2, we're doing this. And I would often go forward because I loved biology. I was naturally good at retaining the information. Again, I don't know if it's because I loved the teacher and it was engaging, but I really, really loved biology. And then on the other side, what was your least favorite subject in high school? Again, I think the teacher had a lot to do with it. I hated geography and history because it was the same teacher. We didn't get along. I wasn't quite the teacher's pet with, each of my classes, but I got along with the teachers really well. I just could not get along with her, and I was so thankful when we hit grade 11 and I didn't actually have to do it anymore. It was no longer a compulsory subject. 56. What was your favorite TV show when you were a child? I didn't watch a lot of TV. I was at dance a lot, and then when I wasn't at dance, I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house. If the TV was on, it was sort of all of those game show ish things. But again, I spent a lot of time outside with granddad, or in the kitchen with mama. I do remember there being a show called Amazing, where it was a kids' show where they had different tasks, and at the end, depending on how well they did with the tasks, would depend on how much time they had in this maze. They had to find as many letters as possible, and then they had to spell the word of the week. I really, really enjoyed that. But yeah, I didn't really watch a lot of TV. 58. Are you scared of heights? To a point, I think yes. It depends on the situation. If I feel secure, I'm fine. So is it a merry-go-round that goes round and round? I'm fine in that. Like, I'm secure, I'm safe, but I get really bad vertigo, even playing games. So I was fine with World of Warcraft when I was flying, because I guess I felt secure. It's a game, I know, but then when I was playing Minecraft with the kids and you're doing this sort of block and you're only on one block, I would actually feel fear. So I think it depends on how safe I am as to whether I like the heights or not. 59. Are you high maintenance? To the point. I do have OCD. Some days it's worse than others. Some months it's worse than others. When I'm going through a bad time, I feel incredibly sorry for my family. But for the most part, I think I'm okay. Are you more inclined to build your own empire or unleash the potential of others? I don't know. Are you more likely to avoid conflict or engage it head on? It depends on the situation. At work, I'm kind of more likely to avoid the conflict. With friends and family, I kind of want to get it out and not have it simmering. So it depends on what's happening. And online is just a mess sometimes. I just leave and don't even bother. Are you a dog person or a cat person? Most definitely a cat. I think dogs are cute, but they're also kind of dirty. And I don't know why. Like, I know dogs are clean, but it's something about their tongues, and then they go outside, and I appreciate other people's dogs. I don't know whether I would ever own one. My husband was a dog person until recently. I don't know if it's because Luna's so awesome or he saw a puppy that one of his friends got and they are naughty. So I'm not sure if we'll ever own a dog, but I'm most definitely a cat person. Are you a fan of any sports team? Kind of. Growing up, my grandparents were heavily into sport. We watched most things. Sorry, just had to take another drink. So we watched a lot of things. I picked favorite sports team based on the color. So NRL, I think it's National Rugby League. I go for Melbourne Storm because they're purple, and I have done since they entered the competition. I follow them, but I really don't care if they win or lose. I'm not, heavily competitive because of it. 64. Are you a good cook? It depends. I'm very process driven in the right way. I need to follow instructions. So even though I have made the same cake since grade 8 cooking, I need to follow the recipe while I'm making it. Even though I've made lasagna ever since I moved out of home, I need to follow the recipe while I'm cooking it. So if I've got a recipe, if it's something I'm comfortable with, yes. I'm okay most of the time if I try something new, but it's this is going to sound probably really bad. It's not a skill I've had to nurture or maintain with our lifestyle. That sounds really weird. David does a lot of the dinners. I'm at dance with Elise. He comes home and he does dinner. We get home pretty late, 8:30 most nights. So we get home to dinner cooked. So I'm sure when dance is done, we will share the load a lot more evenly, and I will improve my skills then. Are you an early adopter or a late adopter? Uh, Usually early, I'd say. I've got this weird aversion to not doing things because everyone's doing them. If I genuinely enjoy it, I'm not going to turn away because it's popular, but it takes a lot for me to actually try something if there's a bit of a cult following. So Schitt's Creek, everyone raved about it, and it took me a really, really long time. Like, I just started it Friday. Friday gone, because I think I'm uploading this Sunday. So it took me a really long time to get to it. I guess I didn't want to be disappointed because everyone's raving about it. But yeah, early adopter or tentative adopter would probably be my thing. If you had more courage, what would you do differently in your life now? I don't think I'd do anything differently. I like where I am right now. There are obviously room for improvement, but yeah, I like my life and don't think I would change it. What is good about how you're living your life right now? I don't know, it just works. We live for the kids, they are our number one priority. Um, they'll grow up, sooner than I would like, and then David and I can look at doing things for us. But right now, our life is just to support our kids in any way that we can. If you could eliminate one weakness or limitation in your life, what would it be? I think everyone would say this: financial and time. Like, we're not financially poor, we are quite comfortable, but of course, there's always something else that you would buy. I am very particular about a lot of things, so I would love to have no limit on kitting up everything the way I would like, but that's not life. And time poor. I would love to have more time. I'm sure that when I had it, I would probably waste it because that's how you do, that whole saying of give work to a busy person because they'll get it done. So I'm interested to see how things change when I don't have to run around like a headless chook. But yeah, I think that's it. We're almost time's up. Thank you for stitching with me, and I'll see you again soon.